First of all, I want to welcome everybody here today, all the parishioners at St. Patrick's, but especially the drill team, which is the first time here at St. Pat's. We're thrilled that you could be here to celebrate with us today. And all the students and faculty from Padre Pio Academy, children coming to see what we do in Irish culture on St. Patrick's Day. And all the many friends and people who have come to be here today to celebrate Mass. Today is the 168th anniversary of the founding of St. Patrick's Parish. In 1848, the parish was founded on St. Patrick's Day and was given the name St. Patrick that he might protect, watch over, and govern us these many years. And truly, he's been with us as a blessing in so many, many ways. So we come here today to give thanks to God for the gift of our parish, for the gift of St. Patrick's inspiration and help and prayers to God for us. And we come here to give thanks for our faith, our Irish faith that comes from our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. I was very fortunate growing up to know my great-grandparents, Catherine Quinn and Sarah Garrity, my great-grandmothers, two very devoted women and very faith-filled. I loved visiting Grandma Quinn because she always had something good to eat, for one thing. And then she would always have a cup of tea, and of course she always had to put a little something in the tea. I enjoyed her very, very much. And Grandma Garrity, Sarah Garrity, holy woman, she was just a wonderful, wonderful person. She's the one that handed me the statue of the Sacred Heart on my first communion day and said, always stay close to him. I've never forgotten that, never forgotten it. She handed me Christ. And so we look back in faith. Our faith is handed on to us from our grandparents and great-grandparents and our parents, and we're so grateful. St. Patrick, the celebration of St. Patrick's Day is very important to us. I like the Irish proverb, may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. It's one of my favorite ones. And there's so many wonderful proverbs that have come up from the Irish people. We need to talk about St. Patrick on St. Patrick's Day. It was about the year 410 in Roman Britain. A young man in his middle 20s lay fast asleep in his parents' home. And during that night, he was to have a dream that would transform history. I'll read to you in his own words about that dream. And there I saw in the night the vision of a man whose name was Victoricus, coming as it were from Ireland with countless letters. And he gave me one of them, and I read the opening words of the letter, which were, the voice of the Irish. And as I read the beginning of the letter, I thought that at that same moment I heard their voice. And thus did they cry out as with one mouth, we ask thee, boy, come and walk among us once more. And I was quite broken in heart and could read no further. And so I woke up. Thanks be to God, after many years the Lord gave to them according to their cry. It transformed Patrick's life, and that transformation was in like two stages. When he was a young boy up to the age of 16, he was preached to by the priests in Britain about Christianity. And as he says in his confessions, I heard it with my ears, but I didn't hear it with my heart. I didn't believe it. I didn't live it. And he said, I did all kinds of things, crazy things. It was kind of wild and careless and carefree. And so were my friends, he says. And then one day, some people came from the island of Ireland and captured him, along with many other young boys, and took them to Ireland, where they made them slaves. And as a slave, Patrick was tending sheep in the cold and in the snow and in the rain, all kinds of weather, often alone. And he says that he started to pray, And he said he got to the point where he was saying 100 prayers a day and would often wake up in the night and begin to pray. And he says the Holy Spirit was doing something to him, was changing his life. That was the first stage of his life. And then it came about that he was able to escape and go back home to his parents in Britain. And that's when he had this dream that I read a few moments ago. He was being called back. He was mistreated in Ireland. They really were enemies of Patrick. They treated him awful as a slave. But he was being called back there to bring Christ to them. And so we see St. Patrick as a missionary and as a saint. He became a priest and went back to Ireland and began preaching the gospel. He was preaching to a group of people who were largely pagan, who worshiped idols, who had no understanding of Christ at all. But in his zeal and his enthusiasm, he converted thousands of people to Christianity and turned Ireland into a very Catholic Christian country. St. Patrick was a true gift to the history of Ireland. And from that gift of St. Patrick and bringing the faith to the people, we have our faith. Many Irish immigrants came here to the United States and brought with them the Irish culture, the Irish tears and laughter, the Irish intelligence, the Irish wit and wisdom, the Irish faith, and spread it in the neighborhoods that they came to. As we walk in parades today in Cleveland, in New York, in Baltimore, and all over the country, every footfall should be a promise and a memory of our roots, of where we've come from, and then a promise that we're going to follow. We have to take up the missionary zeal of St. Patrick and continue to spread Christianity again in our own country, where people must see our lives as we live them as Christians and want to become one of us, want to belong, want to come back. If only we can do it with great enthusiasm and with a real desire to draw others to Christ. That's the missionary spirit of St. Patrick. So as we celebrate this Mass today, we give thanks for his witness of his faith and ask him to give us the zeal to continue to spread that faith. Here at St. Patrick's Parish, I think we have a special call because we were closed for 2 years, and through the intercession of our Blessed Mother and St. Patrick, this parish was reopened for a purpose. God always has a purpose, and the purpose is to make him present more and more in West Park, and then spread out from there. We have to have the same missionary kind of zeal as St. Patrick did to draw others to Christ and to the faith. And coming here to pray today is a great opportunity for us to ask God's grace and through the intercession of St. Patrick to be with us. So I'm grateful that we're here. It's a happy day. We will leave from here and celebrate all day long the heritage, the history, the culture of the Irish people that we possess, and thank God for it. And so today we ask the Lord to bless us and bless all his people everywhere. Let us stand now and offer our prayers and petitions.